Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote. Campaigning for me in Pennsylvania, and he's a popular guy, and he was very effective. And he knows those computers better than anybody, all those computers, those vote-counting computers. And we ended up winning Pennsylvania like in a landslide.
We're finally doing it. We are going door to door in Rockland County looking for those Harris voters in the districts where she got 0 votes. I know you're very excited about this. We're excited about it also. I'm Lulu Freistad. I'm the co-founder and executive director of Smart Elections, and our Action Armed Smart legislation is one that filed the lawsuit challenging the 2024 election results in Rockland County. A lot of people have been asking why we haven't been able to get the affidavits of voters who voted for Kamala Harris in those districts where she was reported as having 0 votes. And it's a little bit complicated. Part of it is just that it's really time consuming. There are over 200,000 voters in Rockland County, a little bit like searching for a needle in a haystack. And also we have to take things in an order of priority. So we had to file the lawsuit, and we had to raise money for the lawsuit, and the county has been trying to dismiss the lawsuit, so we had to respond to their motion to dismiss. All of that is extremely time consuming, and so we didn't really have the resources to take on this door-to-door search, which is, you know, also very time consuming. But we are launching it now, and so I know you're excited. I know that this is what people have really wanted to see. So we're out here today just kind of as a starting effort. We don't have a lot of time. We have a few hours to go door to door with a very small team, but we will keep you posted if we find anything, and we'll keep you posted on our next steps. Thanks so much for all your support. Please do like, share, repost, and of course donate at smartelections.us. Thanks so much for all you're doing. This is another update on the Rockland County lawsuit challenging the results of the 2024 election. I'm going to talk to you about something that I haven't talked about up till now, because our attorney had asked me not to discuss this until we got this letter filed with the judge. But we did get the letter filed. One of the reasons why we don't trust the Rockland County Board of Elections is because they haven't been honest with us. And there are a few ways of seeing that. And one of them is by their answers in what's called the interrogatories. Interrogatories are questions that we were allowed to ask them in the course of the proceedings. And they're legally required to answer them honestly. But in fact, in one of them, they lied. So one of the questions that we asked them was, did anyone else complain about election results since 2020? And they said no, there were no other complaints about the election results in Rockland County except for ours. When in fact, there was a formal complaint. There was a petition filed by a group called New York Citizens Audit, and it specifically complained about election results in Rockland County, and it was filed in 2022 during the period that we asked about. So they lied about that. It's hard to imagine that they didn't know about this complaint, because it was a formal complaint filed with the State Board of Elections, and it was read out loud. The New York Citizens Audit would read it on the steps of the legislature and in other town halls. They were very public about this petition, which was a concern about the election results. And so that's one of the things that we noted in the letter that we sent to the judge recently. We called them out and we said, hey, look, they're not even answering these questions honestly. So they didn't comply with discovery. They didn't answer the questions honestly. And at this point, we really don't have the sense that they're participating in the lawsuit in good faith. So that's your update on the Rockland County lawsuit. We are waiting to hear from the judge, and as soon as we know, we'll let you know. We're waiting on a decision as to whether or not the hand recount is going to move forward, or at least our request for the hand recount, that she would continue to consider it, or if she's going to dismiss the case. There is a motion to dismiss, and we're waiting to hear what she decides. Please follow along to stay informed and share this video. And If you have the opportunity, please do make a donation at smartelections.us to support our work. Thanks so much for everything that you're doing.
And I want to be clear, if Trump actually won fair and square, I'm not going to be one of those people who's like, not my president, because I'm a sane, normal, reasonable individual, okay? I'm just putting this information out there. Number one, Trump began saying things like, we don't even need votes. You guys don't even have to vote. Don't vote. Saying things like that before voting day, before the election. That's a weird thing to say. That's a very strange thing to say. He stopped doing rallies in swing states. He stopped really putting in any effort. He started being a bit more racist and a bit more misogynistic, like not doing anything that you would think he would be doing right before the election to try to win those votes. He basically was like, fuck this, I don't care, because he thought he was going to win anyway. On top of this, he started making comments such as, we have a secret plan. We have something up our sleeves. We don't even need your votes. We're going to win. Me and this guy have a secret plan. Like blatant, because he can't keep his yapper shut. That's like very suspicious. Elon Musk joins the conversation. I don't know what the fuck those two are doing together, how they're colluding. Obviously, Musk like contributed to his campaign or whatever, but Musk was seen on television saying, if Trump loses, I'm going to go to prison. What does that mean? Why would you go to prison? That's weird. Number two, Trump usually doesn't shut the fuck up online, especially when he has something to gloat about, when he has something to boast and, be so proud and, oh, look at me, I'm the best. He just won the presidential election and he's been silent or really not as loud as he usually is. That's weird. Number three, there's like 15 million less Democratic votes this election compared to the last election, which doesn't really make a lot of sense because we were told that we had like record-breaking turnout numbers. The young population was motivated to go out and vote. And when you look at the years, like there's like some graphic that exists. If you look at the years in comparison, one of two things is pretty apparent. Either in 2020, the Democrats did cheat. I mean, because it's pretty crazy. It's like around 60, 64 million. And then it jumps up to like 80 something million for Biden, more than Obama, which is crazy, especially with COVID going on. Like that's weird. So you would assume that that means there's at least that many more Democrats. And I don't think 15 million people died, right? So for this election, with all the movement and momentum that we had behind Kamala, you would think that the number of blue votes would be closer to 80 million, right? So one of those two things is suspicious, right? See, I'm even willing to admit that maybe we cheated. I don't know. Number four, I just saw a TikTok where someone made a really good point. We raised $1 billion in funding for Kamala in 4 months. That's a bit, like, when we say, like, the people were motivated, the people were out there doing stuff, they were. So how did she have all this momentum where analysts and all these people were saying she's going to win, she's going to take Iowa, yada, yada, yada. It really felt like she was going to win. Not just because I wanted her to win, but because that's really what it felt like. And then she not only loses, but loses by a lot. Like, by a lot. Do you get what I'm saying? And then finally, the fifth and most important thing that I think is interesting, if you go to vote.org, you can check the status of your ballot, of your vote. Now, I tried this, but because I'm voting from abroad, I think mine is a little bit different anyways. But it does say that I wasn't registered to vote in the place that I was, which is crazy because not only was I registered to vote, but I voted. So it says I wasn't registered to vote, but I voted. And I did it online because I'm from Massachusetts. If you vote from abroad and from Massachusetts, you can do it online. It's not like that for every state. So I was so much in the system that I was given a ballot. Like I logged in, I have a little PIN number and everything. That's the only way that you can get in. So I logged in. I couldn't have accessed that if I wasn't registered to vote. It says I wasn't registered to vote and that I did not vote. So I have no vote. But who cares about me? All these people, on every video that I see, the comments are full of people being like, it says my ballot's not there. It says my ballot's not there. Like all these Democrats. I mean, I've probably seen hundreds, if not thousands, of people saying this today. So go check yours and tell me if you think that that's normal. Again, I'm not being a conspiracy theorist. I just put it all in one video because I keep seeing them and I can't just keep reposting until I die. Because also maybe you don't watch all my reposts. So I just want to put that out there. It just seems weird and suspicious. And like I said, I'm not an election denier. If he actually won, then like I hate it. But like whatever, bro. Like that's what you people wanted. I hate it. And I think you guys made horrible decisions. But if that's what you wanted, whatever. But that's weird, right? Tell me that I'm not wrong. That's weird.
So a question might arise. Did Trump really rig the 2024 elections? Because as you all can remember, before the elections, he was saying that the 2020 election was rigged. The 2020 election was rigged. And that was debunked thousands of times, that the 2020 election was not rigged. Maybe that was a smokescreen or a distraction to avoid us focusing on the 2024 elections, which many Americans claim that was rigged by Trump. So let's continue watching, and I'll make the conclusion at the end of this video.
He's talking about that he considers anyone who doesn't support him or who will not bend to his will an enemy of our country. It's a serious issue. He is saying that he would use the military to go after them. Think about this.
To take place later today near City Hall. This follows President Trump's deployment of 2,000 National Guard members in response to a series of immigration protests across the city.
And Donald Trump intends to cut Social Security and Medicare. He intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations. He intends to gut our investments in clean energy jobs. He intends to end the Affordable Care Act, to take us back to a time when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. You guys remember what that was?
We had our top people, Wasserman. They all came in on the Olympics, and then I saw Johnny. And we got the World Cup, too. And, you know, it's only because they rigged the election that I'll be your president representing you there. You know, I got both of them. I got the Olympics, and I got the World Cup. And I said, you know, it's too bad. One was in 2026, and the other was in 2028. And I said, I won't be there. I won't be your president. But then they rigged the election, and now we won, so I'm going to be your president for the Olympics. And then he journeyed to Pennsylvania, where he spent like a month and a half campaigning for me in Pennsylvania. And he's a popular guy, and he was very effective. And he knows those computers better than anybody, all those computers, those vote-counting computers. And we ended up winning Pennsylvania like in a landslide, so it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So thank you to Elon.
Did you know Rockland County, New York is at the center of a massive election integrity case and barely anyone's talking about it? A lawsuit was filed challenging the 2024 presidential and U.S. Senate election results because in several districts, Kamala Harris allegedly received 0 votes. That's right, 0. Even in areas where Democratic Senator Kirsten Gillibrand won by a landslide. And that's not all. Multiple voters signed affidavits saying that they voted for independent Senate candidate Diane Sare, but somehow there were fewer votes reported than affidavits that were submitted. A judge, Rachel Tangaway, has now ordered discovery. So this means they're moving forward to examine the ballots and possibly do a full hand recount. The next court date is set for September 22nd, and this could become the only official hand recount of the 2024 presidential election happening in the United States right now. And while all this is going on, there's near total media silence. They don't want you to know, so if you care about election transparency, share this. We need all eyes on Rockland County, regardless of party.
Elon Musk gave $1 million each to 2 Pennsylvania voters. He's promised to do the same every day from now until Election Day on November 5th. What he's doing is, if you're a registered voter in a swing state, and if you signed a petition that, quote, favors free speech and the right to bear arms, you too could get a chance at $1 million. And if you refer another voter who signs up, you're promised $47. The petition was created by America PAC, which was set up to support Donald Trump. But again, is this legal? Many legal experts say no. That's because federal campaign finance law prohibits paying people to vote or to register to vote. And you could see this lottery of sorts as a sneaky attempt to pay people to register. Here's NBC News' election law analyst and UCLA professor of law Rick Hasson on Morning Joe.
So this is essentially a lottery to either induce people or reward people for registering to vote. And there's a federal statute. It's 52 USC 10307C. You can look it up. It says you can't pay people to register or to vote. And the DOJ Election Crimes Manual says that lotteries count as a kind of payment. So it seems pretty open and shut to me.
That's why a number of former Republican DOJ officials have already requested DOJ investigate this immediately. But whether or not they do, don't expect to know any time before Election Day. That's because DOJ traditionally avoids new investigations that could impact an election in the 60 to 90 days right before. So, Elon Musk's not out of the woods. Yet.
Mr. Perry just mocked us for referring to Donald Trump as a dictator, so let's run through the list. Donald Trump has, since he was inaugurated, pardoned violent January 6 insurrectionists. Dictator. Defied Supreme Court orders and attacked the judiciary. Dictator. Unilaterally abolished congressionally chartered federal agencies. Dictator. Attacked the free press. Sounds like a dictator. Kidnapped people off of the streets and deported them to foreign prisons without due process. Sounds like a dictator. Defunded higher education. Dictator. Threatened law firms and the legal profession. Dictator. This weekend, he is spending tens of millions of dollars to host a massive military parade for his birthday. Is this North Korea? On top of all of that, our twice impeached president with a 34-count convicted felony president who is not a king has deployed the active duty military in American cities, and he has spent $134 million to do so. He has their guns trained on American citizens without the consent of local authorities or the state's governor to purposefully generate chaos and provoke a reaction. Meanwhile, we have Republicans on this side of the aisle asking governors of states about bathrooms. Like, this is the most dystopian, horrific episode of Black Mirror that I have ever seen.
So with all this mountain of evidence, MAGA Americans will still claim that the Democrats are accusing us of rigging the elections. So, is it true? Did Trump really rig the 2024 elections? This is a question that I'm trying to answer. Elon Musk was giving $1 million to what? Any American who sends to, I don't know, was it American First or what? I don't remember well. $1 million bribing voters. The second issue, Trump lied multiple times about the Haitians eating cats and dogs in Springfield. Was it true or was it a lie? Because at the moment, maybe or as far as I can remember, there were not deportations done on these Haitians who are eating cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio. And that's why in the governor's race, because Ohio residents are very mad at Trump for lying to them, they won't be voting for Vivek. The other issue, Trump lied about kids being performed surgeries without the consent of their parents. You know what I mean? First and foremost, before we answer the issue of rigging, Trump played on Americans' fears excessively, massively. He even lied on the issue of immigration. He said that I want Americans to get these jobs, and maybe made independents believed him. But the other day at the Fox News, he claimed that he will be bringing in 600,000 Chinese students and H-1B visas from other foreign countries because Americans cannot build. Lied. So the old Trump's campaign was based on lies. Because the issues that Trump campaigned on and the issues that he won on, he hasn't solved a thing about those issues. So the point number one, he lied to the independents, and the independents voted for him. Then let's look at his inauguration. We had billionaires lined in the White House, pledging their alliance to Donald Trump. All these billionaires, they had something to do with this election. The likes of Larry Ellison, the likes of Maria Madelson, the likes of Elon Musk, people contributed millions of US dollars towards these campaigns. Then Elon Musk bought Twitter, which was used to spread misinformation in this country, whereby anyone could say anything and without being fact-checked, and it would spread like wildfire. So his cronies controlling the social media sites really helped Trump win the elections. And now, after the election, the Dominion voting machines, which Trump claimed rigged him, has been bought by his friend. So, what does all this bring us to? I believe personally, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not right, but I believe that millions could agree with me on this. The election was not free and fair. It wasn't. And with this lady doing this, this follow-up in Rockland County, I believe that it will help shine a light on this conspiracy against the people of the United States. So stay alert, stay focused, don't fall for the government psyop, learn to question everything. Watch blue, talk blue, vote blue, and listen blue. And until the next video, thank you for your attention to this matter.